Hi everyone, my name is Grace Siegel and I'll be talking about feral children. Imagine spending the majority of your childhood locked in a bedroom with little to no human contact. Throughout the years, there have been shocking stories of feral children who grew up without affection and nurturing. While feral child cases are not incredibly common, they are also a serious problem, and a feral child goes through extreme difficulty when being integrated back into society. So what exactly is a feral child? By the end of my speech, you'll know what a feral child is. You will also know of a specific example of a feral child and what exactly they went through. And you'll also know the psychological and emotional effects that being a feral child can leave. To begin, we must acknowledge that without the social structure we have in place, we would be nothing like the humans we are today. Being humans, we are naturally social creatures, and a feral child is a blank slate with no experience of human contact or communication skills. Living for years alone in a closed-off world, it is no shock that they can also be called a wild child. The child could be raised by animals or simply, in most cases, abandoned by their parents, and therefore they can never become fully socialized. When a feral child is left to survive alone, the child grows up used to lack of human contact, and after a feral child is found, it is very difficult to teach them how to act like everyone in society, and usually takes the help of professionals and a lot of time. One of the most important and well-known feral child cases is that of Jeannie Wiley. Jeannie spent the first 13 years of her life locked in a bedroom, deprived of all love and attention from her family. The majority of her life she spent strapped to a toilet or locked in a cage. After her case was discovered, many specialists dedicated their time to teaching Jeannie how to speak and live a normal life. It proved to be extremely difficult since her brain development had suffered drastically and could never be fully repaired. Jeannie eventually learned to speak as well as can be expected, but after many setbacks and being exploited by those in charge of her care, she now digressed into speechlessness and spends her time moving from one psych ward to the next. The unfortunate situation of Jeannie can be seen in cases all over the world. To this day, not much is known about how to fully and successfully treat a feral child case. When a small child is left alone without attention or brain stimulus, it has lasting physical and emotional effects, and their language development is severely crippled. And these children cannot enjoy things like normal kids. The smaller the amount of stimulus a child gets, the less their brain develops and grows, and is able to develop even when taken out of their situation. Body growth of feral children is also slowed, and many of them do not learn to walk until they are teenagers, like in the case of Jeannie Wiley. Because these children were never showed affection and never experienced enjoyment, they are often half responsive, and many times cannot thrive no matter how much care they are given once they're rescued. To conclude, the situation of a feral child, when it happens, it is a lasting study for humanity to decipher due to its complexity and the fact that not much is known about the subject. While feral child cases are not completely understood, experts are continuing to look for ways to heal these children. To review, a feral child is a child who is neglected throughout their important developmental years. Jeannie Wiley is the most well-known and important feral child case. Being a feral child also is a traumatic experience with a long recovery process and is not always successful. Now, if you are ever to come across a feral child, you will better be able to sympathize with their situation and have a better understanding of what exactly it is that they go through.